What are the odds that after I record the deck profile for Bruce, they release even more Bruce stuff for DBT06? Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Meta Nerd channel. I am Marcus, and in this video, we're going to go through the spicy stuff, quoting Mr. Timeleap here, that was being released for Bruce. And I'm telling you, the stuff that was released for Bruce for on the Tuesday stream is something. It is something. Will it change Bruce? Will it really be a meta change for Bruce? I'm not too sure yet. Alas, it is something to be of worth noting. Let's take a look at what was being released for Bruce. First on the list, we have Diabolos Reverse Diandre, if I'm not pronouncing that name wrong. Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from your soul. If you have a Vanguard with Bruce in its card name, this unit gets 10k power until the end of turn for every 2 cards in your damage zone. There's no final rush. Let that sink in for a moment. There is no final rush within the skill tags. You just simply need to have a Bruce Vanguard, which means that this unit will be able to use his skill on the third turn. The third turn, not the fourth, the third turn. It's something. This is just a common. And that's saying something already. You can combo this basically with Julian, Leonard, or Regina to activate the skill, because these 3 cards does cost stuff out from the soul, which makes this an excellent target for all those 3 cards. And the maximum power that Diandre will be getting is 20k, because, you know, for every 2 cards, meaning if you're at 4 damage, that's 10k for every 2 cards, which means this unit is going to be 20k. And luckily the power stays until the end of that turn, and if you restand, this unit is potentially going to be hitting at least 30k. If you include the personal right or the order, any order that is, Pandemonium or Hellblast, he's gonna be attacking for 40k. It's actually really comparable with Migan, but Migan here does not really has the restriction to be called from the soul. She just needs to attack and you're in final rush, so that's the difference. So what this basically tells us is that Bruce really do appreciates getting rushed for some reason. If you rush Bruce, yeah, you're gonna get punished really hard. This is looking really good and really insane. And this is just a common one of it. I'm personally really happy that we got this kind of skill, but the problem here is that most of the other supports are still final rush locked. This at the moment, it's really good, but at the same time it's kind of being dragged down by the other supports that Bruce has at the moment. So who knows, maybe once we get a little bit more for Bruce's support, then we'll be able to piece together like each and every the new style of turn 3 Bruce tactics, that is, which is super weird. But yeah, that's the first card. It's already insane. The second card that we got is Diabolos Madonna Siena. Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from hand, cost, put another rearguard into your soul, look at the top card of your deck and call it to rearguard circle or put it into your soul. So this one is similar, quite similar to Regina. Just that Regina needs to put 2 rearguards to soul to call 1 out. Siena basically just put 1 rearguard to soul and then you just tech the top deck. The top deck is gonna be quite RNG because, you know, you won't really know like what's the top deck, and Dark State don't really have stuff that basically helps you search the top deck. I mean, you do, but just that it's not going to be really good. Maybe Greedon will be able to abuse this card, because there's 1 card in Greedon that basically guarantees what you're gonna Superior call from Bubetsu's skill, which is, I think it's the rat, if I'm not mistaken. You basically exchange a lower value rearguard. For example, if you don't have like all your key pieces, or your hand is just like all triggers, you can basically just call the trigger down and use Sienar's skill, call Sienar to put the trigger to soul, and then basically hopefully get a much better unit, which I think it's not too bad. At the moment, we don't really have stuff that basically allows us to call from our hand to the battlefield at the moment, but if we do, you are able to basically put one of the rested unit to soul and basically superior call and other stuff out from the top deck, which means that you're gonna make an additional attack off of Sienar's skills, which is not too bad. She is basically a really powerful card. On high roll, you're able to get a really good beater, or basically maybe an attacker that further boosts your other attacks, or you basically get another soul charge. I mean, the whole interaction with this card is basically you soul charging 2. Well, not really soul charging 2. Put 1 rearguard to soul, and basically if you check the top deck is not something you want. You can just always put it into the soul. This is actually not too bad. But with her being a 6k body is not that great. But yeah, I mean, this is only an R. Even the common is much more better than this. But hey, of course, not every card is created equal despite the rarity. But yeah, this card we could see potential play of this card if we do get the superior call from the hand during battle phase skill. If we do get that, then this card will be really ridiculous, I'm telling you that. Yeah, overall not too bad, but at the moment I don't think this card will be run for future Bruce, unless of course this and that skill has been released for Bruce, that is. Moving on to double R, we have Diabolos girl Ivanka. Yeah, probably not the daughter of President Trump. Ex-President Trump. Auto Rearguard Circle. When the attack this unit boosted hits a Vanguard, if you are in Final Rush. Okay, finally a Final Rush card. Cost Counterblast 1 and put the rearguard this unit boosted on the bottom of your deck. Draw a card, choose one of your other unit, and it gets 5k power until the end of turn. This is just in double R, and we kind of see the Spike Brother element within this card. What this card actually does is it basically helps you opens up the rearguard circle, potentially the front row, for either Leonard or Julian shenanigans. Because Leonard as well as Julian will be able to superior call stuff from the soul to open rearguard circle. So this card basically does helps a little bit with that, and she does allows you to basically multi-attack even more. But the sad part is that this card is only active when you are in Final Rush. So turn 3 is still quite weak for Bruce at the moment, because yeah, you see this card is in Final Rush and the others are not. So it's very weird that we're getting this kind of timing. So if you're saying turn 3 Bruce is a thing, I don't think so at the moment. At least for now, I don't think so. Even with Julian. The draw power from this card is actually super nice. You're basically recycling your front row unit while drawing a card, while at the same time opening that rearguard spot for either Julian or Leonard, depending on who you have on the other column. And of course, do keep in mind this card will never be in behind Bruce, because you know you need to put a rearguard. So if you put this card behind Bruce, she's dead. And speaking of the power boost, the 5k power to any unit is actually super nice. Although it's just a 5k, it's not much, but potentially an extra card from your opponent, which is super nice. But keep in mind here is that the power boost from your order, be it Pandemonium or Hellblast, is gonna be a little bit waste, because you know that rearguard that was boosted by Pandemonium or Hellblast is gonna go back to bottom, which means you will kind of lose out that power. I think that's where the 5k power does comes into play. You do have to sacrifice like the order power in order to give another stuff 5k power. But yeah, I think it's still a really good trade, because you do draw one card. That is super nice. But given the fact that Ivanka needs to hit the Vanguard, I think it's a little bit too much. First off, you're restricting this card to having Final Rush and Counterblast 1, and put the rearguard that this unit boosted to the bottom deck as a cost, and you still need to hit. That's, I think, is a little bit too much, I would say. Unless of course you're calling 2 Ivanka downs, then yeah, you're most likely gonna get one Ivanka off. But the problem here is that if you do that, your board is gonna be significantly weaker, because you have other better booster out there. For example, the Doggo that will never go away unless a much more insane Doggo skill grade 1 is gonna introduce. But at the moment, we don't see much usage for Ivanka just yet. Who knows? I mean, one card could change the whole direction for these support cards. But at the moment, it's decent. It's not great. It's not bad as well, and still remains to be seen of Ivanka's full potential. And we have the triple R for Bruce, Diabolos Diver Julian. Now this card I think is what people has been hyping about because of his debut in the anime. Auto rearguard circle once per turn. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1, and this unit gets 2k power until the end of turn for each card in your damage zone. If you have a Vanguard with Bruce in its card name, so charge 1 for every 2 cards in your damage zone. Choose up to the same number of cards soul charged by this effect from your soul and call them to open rearguard circle. So this is basically a powered up Leonard without you needing to hit. It's just that you will need to be in the late game for you to maximize the full potential of Julian. And yeah, there's no final rush in the skill text. Which means you're able to use this as early as turn 3, which is something very disgusting. Even if I say disgusting, at this point, if you use this as early as turn 3, there might not be a viable target unless your soul charge is really godly disgusting. You basically soul charge the Diandre that we talked about, then yeah, you are a gamer. So the maximum power that Julian will be getting is 10k. You know, 2k power for every card in a damage zone, which means it's gonna get 10k power, which is 5k more than Leonard. And of course, since the first part of the skill, the power gaining part, does not really lock into your Vanguard having to be bruised, you can actually play this with Greedon, which means that Julian will be plus 12k in a Greedon deck, but I don't think you will want to run this in a Greedon deck. It's such a waste of space, if you ask me. So the maximum potential that this card could give is basically soul charging 2, and you get to superior call 2 cards from the soul, which is exactly what Leonard is doing. So this card basically just cements that getting rushed by the opponent as a bruised player will make bruise even stronger now. The more damage that you have, the more powerful your skills will be. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but most probably it's a good thing. Which probably means that in the future, when you go against Bruce, you will need to think twice or maybe thrice to whether or not you should give the damage to Bruce, because you have all these skills. Look at the amount of damage that you have, which makes me really happy. Also, seeing that we don't really see a lot of final rush, as well as these cards does not function well together with the two main orders that we are playing, Hellblast as well as Pandemonium, I am suspecting that there's a possibility of a new order for DBT06, but that is still remains to be seen. Even if we don't get any new order, I guess it's still fine, because you're able to squeeze out even more attacks already. So you're basically sacrificing power for more attacks, which might spell trouble for your opponent. But yeah, that's Triple R. This is just the beginning, and I'm already really happy and really hyped for what's to come for Bruce. I am super happy. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of the new support and the new direction for Bruce is getting in DBT06. At the moment, some of them do seem like very meh, because you know the rest of the support is like locked to final rush, which means that even if they gives you a turn 3 shenanigans, you still have to wait until turn 4 because final rush activates on the turn 4. But still, I am remaining hopeful that we will be getting something that basically plays around final rush. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course do ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.